Party Rock is in the house tonight. Hello, everybody. It's Dissonant Waves, episode 171. My name is Domino, and Ritz and Trix are here.
Indeed, we are.
Fuck you, Dominic.
The piss and the shit are both here with the vomit.
Yep.
And we have some stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Trix, you...
Do we really? Do we really have to talk about it?
Yes, we do. Trix, you did a great thing, and you chose Amyl and the Sniffers, both the self-titled and the second album, Comfort to Me. Ritz, you chose...
Hell yes, I did.
Garage Sale, Stars Fall 2, Fanclubwallet, Our Bodies Paint Traffic Lines, and the new album by Cheekface, It's Sorted. And I chose the new Laura Jane Grace album, Hole in My Head, and, you know, Party Rock by LMFAO. Purely because what Trix chose with Pretty Hate Machine.
Should we just rip the Band-Aid off? Because I don't really want to have it hanging anymore.
I don't blame you.
Let's talk about one of the most unlistenable things we've ever listened to on the show. Party Rock by LMFAO.
And we listened to a lot.
This isn't alright.
Okay.
This isn't the worst that we've listened to in a week.
I want to stress the point of unlistenable. And this year has kind of been, I guess, the first for me when I've actually talked about albums on the podcast. Obviously, I've missed some listening, but I've missed the episodes. Just how it's gone. This year, for the first time ever, I couldn't finish an album that we're listening to. That was the absolute mammoth. That was Trix's stoner metal pick. It was just too much. I didn't have the time to get 11 hours of listening done by the times that I was planning to. It's a bit of poor planning on my part, admittedly. I kind of still do apologize, but it's not something I can really go back and cover at the moment with how little time we have.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time in the podcast I've stopped listening for the sake of my mental health. I couldn't. I just couldn't finish this.
That's impressive.
Yes.
Out of everything we've ever listened to, this is the one that you said my mental health is taking too much damage from this one album.
It's kind of a thing where I guess, I probably haven't prioritized my mental health in previous years as much as I'm doing a bit more as I mature as a person. So maybe there are some albums that I'm going to that I wouldn't finish now.
Mm-hmm.
But
an example.
I don't know. That one was an absolute pain to get through.
Yeah.
That's a good one that I'm kind of thinking of. And the fact that I'm comparing it to this probably can tell you what my thoughts are.
You brought it out when you
if
said
I
the
hadn't
album name.
already
Can you
kind
repeat
of
it, please?
D.D. King.
Ah.
Yeah. So I would say safely I was a very angsty primary school kid. That's when this album came out.
Yeah.
I was very against the mainstream. What was popular was what I hated, and that to a point came to a bit of a detriment to me because there are some actually really good pieces of music out there that was popular. I mean, I started to accept a couple more artists as the years would go on. I was never a Gautier hater, and how could I be? He was fantastic.
How could you be?
But there are artists that were popular in this country that I didn't really give the proper credit to. Like Angus and Julia Stone's a big one that I came to accept. Missy Higgins is one that I didn't really like when I was a kid, but came to accept. LMFAO is the fucking reason that I hated the mate. This is the exact fucking sound that I was always doing that whole, these basic bitches are listening to this. Yeah. That's what I just assumed that basically all mainstream shit was. That's a bit of a fault to me. I'm not going to go and say, hey, look at me, I'm an alternative kid. I'm fucking just listening to what was on Guitar Hero, so I can't really actually talk like I was actually important.
Mhm.
But I still fucking fully agree with the 11-year-old in me who despised the shit out of this, because this is just bad. This is probably one of the worst things we've ever covered over on it. I can't tell you without really properly thinking about it if this is the worst thing. I don't really want to properly think about it.
Keep in mind, we did
This
just cover
versus
drugs.
LSD.
I listened to the full of drones.
Trix also brings up LSD, which is another great comparison point. I think LSD is better.
Yes. Yeah.
LSD is actually a good one. That one, dude. LSD is comparable to drones though, because obviously put aside the controversies of Sia in the past couple of years, especially with that shitty film that did not portray autism like at all, really. That's comparable to drones in the fact of those were all like artists that had talent or had the goodwill. Now, obviously, Diplo, I believe, has lost all that goodwill. But still, when that album came out, it had it, and it was. I mean, Drones got a lot more universal critique, whilst there were a lot of people I saw who were favourable to the LSD album, which I think was just people who really just didn't want to actually properly analyze it and just go, oh, it's got Diplo and Sia.
Kind of the music
give it a good
normies that
review.
we're always afraid of.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that was still a bad album in a sense where it was more of a disappointment, I guess, going into it. It's a hard comparison to do when you're doing these types of things. And in a sense, I feel the counterpoint to comparing to Drones is that it does feel like LSD was doing something as aesthetic, but it still wasn't actually trying anything.
Yeah.
So,
Just,
where I'd kind of.
I think giving a little bit of perspective,
DD King, because it's
giving a little bit of perspective into just who and what LMFAO is important here, just for the sheer hilarity and absurdity of it. So LMFAO, we know them. We genuinely probably just hate them, and that's fine. But Sky Blue, Red Foo, half uncle, half nephew, and they happen to be related to Berry Gordy, who is the founder of Motown Records. And by related, I mean Red Foo is like his son, and Sky Blue is like his nephew.
Yeah.
And by way of being related to Berry Gordy, if you take it back further because of slavery, they are also related to President Jimmy Carter.
Yep.
So, like, Red Foo is like the brother of Rockwell, the somebody's watching me guy. Like, through, relations, Sky Blue's aunt is Diana Ross. Or Diana Ross's daughter or something like that. Like,
yeah,
there is as much royalty and as much, like, singing family shit happening here as possible. And it's this.
Mm-hmm.
It is this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the craziest thing.
All the advertising that you would have gotten. All the advertising you got from kid is that they were just uncle and nephew. That was just the cute little connection that they had with noting all the reasons that they got successful wasn't because of their talent, but because of the I guess Nepo baby is somewhat of a term you can kind of put here, but it is, in its purest state, industry plan.
Yeah.
And you're right. You have all that talented and like important resources, the connections that you have, the resources that you have, and you put out this shit.
I think Red Foo should go back to being a day trader.
The fact that Red Foo decided to split and do his own solo project because he thought that would be successful is insane. But the most insane part is that for some reason Australia put him on one of those fucking tabs as a judge. How the fuck can he judge talent?
Yeah. The fuck?
Now, don't get me wrong. I think the only time we ever put a judge on with talent was Seal.
Sure. Seal's great.
You know, I think during that, you know, there's something funny about having the fucking Madden brothers and Seal. One of them's got talent.
Yeah.
The others are the fucking Madden brothers. So, I don't know. We were good with our judges, but I don't think they really cared about that anyway. Seal, you could tell what his talent was because he knew to leave the show after a season.
Oh, worth correcting myself. Sky Blue is Barry Gordy's grandson. Not yeah. Yeah. So, it's just a whole generational thing happening here. And of course, if you read into it more, you know, their indefinite hiatus has been going on since like 2012. This was like a fad in music in the most like strict sense, because like they got out of there. Like they had their first record, it's this. They had a second record, they had all the hits on that, and then they dipped.
I've the other important comparison that we should be doing is the last Rave Tapes album.
Yeah.
And that's because Rave Tapes are doing the party rock aesthetic in their new style. And I think that's proving it wasn't party rock that was the problem. It was the people who was doing it.
Yeah, this is
because
party
Rave
rock.
Tapes is actually fucking fun.
This is party rock by way of the dudiest dude bros who ever dude broed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know,
and if there was any sense of self-awareness or irony, there might be some enjoyment, but there's none of it. This doesn't feel self-aware. This doesn't feel ironic.
The thing, though, I will compare this to something Trix picked maybe a year ago now. I understand what partying is from when LMFAO talks about it. I understand what their concept of partying is. I still understand what the fuck Andrew WK is on about when he talks about partying.
Partying is a deeply spiritual experience for Andrew WK.
But he doesn't describe it well. With these people,
because partying is personal to the person.
But yeah, but like, still doesn't explain what it means. It's just you're there and you're vibing. Is that
Fair.
it, or is there something more to it? That are you partying wrong? You know, that's the thing. I think is, you know,
I think the only wrong way to party is the way that LMFAO parties.
Yeah, I'm going to do another. I know this is all just comparisons, but this is like basically how to do it because we're just showing how to do it.
There's only one original thought I have about the album, and that is that the line "Foo, your royal penis is clean" is hilarious to me in a way I can't describe.
It's not even an original line. It's
not. It's stolen from Coming to America.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
But the comparison I'm gonna do is to the Venga Boys, specifically the "We Like to Party."
I would rather listen to the Venga Boys.
Oh no, I would too. The Venga Boy. That is the case of there is some self-awareness to what they're doing there. You know, it's not any shock stuff in there. There are some moments, I guess, on that album. Boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room. But that's. Well, I'm not big into that style ever. There is at least a reason to go back to that or enjoy it because there is that when it's got that self-awareness and it's just fun. You know, that's a good guilty pleasure to go onto. Fucking hearing them about how they're getting girls drunk so they will suck their cocks. That's where I shut off the album. How the fuck can you defend that? Why was that on the airwaves? It's not just rape. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, also
nothing
shots,
else.
Just the whole concept of shots is just like, hey, alcoholics, this is a song for you.
Well, yeah. The insane part is that all Little John does on that is just scream shots, and he's fucking the best part of the album.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has so much better energy in his vocals alone than even fucking Red Through a Sky Blue.
Yeah, they have no
It seems like
energy.
there's some kind of It seems like when fucking Little John's just screaming shots, he's having fun doing it. I'm still not big into it, but it's like 3 fucking seconds of work that he's done that's repeated.
Yeah.
And that clears the rest of the fucking album. That's insane.
Now the thing is, you skipped the parts that I think are the most interesting to talk about, though, besides shots.
Oh, they could be, but I don't care. If the defense of the album is going to be the final couple of songs,
it's
what
not a
songs?
defense.
I mean, there's nothing that could. Yeah, but that's still there is nothing that can come after the line that I fucking ended the album on that would make me go, I was happy I stayed for this. There is a certain point where it's the point of no return, and that is past it. And I didn't want to get there, so I left.
Yeah.
That's where it is. I don't care if there's interesting moments. I mean, the Royal Peace line apparently afterwards. I don't know how it's said. Maybe there's self-awareness there. I don't fucking care.
It's said like a soft-spoken kind of like, this is what I want my life to be like, aspirational, affirmational sort of deal.
I think if I covered The Lonely Island with you after hearing this, I would have been more appreciative of The Lonely Island.
Yeah.
Incredibed and this did come out in the same year.
Yep. And they are very similar styles that they have in just music. Lyrically, obviously not. I don't think The Lonely Island... Like, Dick in a Box is the closest that they can probably get to anything that's considered a bit rapey, but there's a fucking huge amount of difference in there because there is a lot more self-awareness.
Yes.
Yeah, LMFAO could not even write one of their songs. Trix,
my least favorite part about you picking Party Rock is that we're going to eventually have to cover Sorry for Party Rocking.
Do we have to?
Yes.
Yes.
You know Dominic.
I know Dominic, but I also know that the world is a very weird and sporadic place. Anything could happen.
And then, because we also know Dominic, we're probably also going to be doing Red Foo's Party Rock Mansion.
You put way too much expectation on me.
Yeah, maybe I just have hope for Dominic. Maybe I hope that he sees that this was probably a bit too much and decides to end it. And I granted can't really say much, but I made both of you incredibly uncomfortable with Emily Montes.
Yeah.
So,
but
again, I want to talk about the song Yes again for a second, Trix. Am I wrong?
Okay.
Or is that sample switching what beat it's on?
Repeat?
Every day I see my dream. Is that switching the beat it's on?
I don't think so.
Because it sounds like it's being said 2 different ways, but it's like not. And it drives me fucking crazy.
Let me pull it up. Doing a live listen right here.
Whilst you're on about that, I want to also point out another thing that shat me to tears back when I was in primary school with the state of the industry. And that actually comes from the very first song, the introduction on this album. Now, sampling is always been a bit of a controversial thing in some pop songs, but in a case, there has still always been, a case for using old material, repurposing it, and creating something new. And there are done some incredible stuff from that. Avalanche is actually one of my favorite albums of all time, and that is an album full of samples. It does that all differently. Hip hop has always been based about getting samples and changing the song. The intro is just Eye of the Tiger. They just grabbed Eye of the Tiger. They haven't actually really done anything with it except a couple of fucking scratches or something. But it's still Eye of the Tiger.
It's only the backing beat of
They haven't
Tiger,
actually done anything
not
to
the
it.
full thing of it.
Yeah. No, it's not the full thing. So they got something better, and then they didn't do anything. It's just there.
Yeah.
So it's not just. Is the joke that this is Eye of the Tiger? Is that what the joke is? Is that what we're supposed to be hyping on?
I don't think it's a joke. I think
I'm
it's
not a
just
big Survivor fan. I don't think anyone's a Survivor fan. But I'd rather listen to Eye of the Tiger than this album. I think anybody would.
Yeah.
Is it the most basic hype up song? Yeah, but it's if you're gonna try and hype me up with your fucking debut, which is not supposed to be a comedy, but supposed to be a partying album. And my first thought is, I would just rather listen to that. Because we could go and repeat the fucking Chumbawamba album title. Which, the whole point of that is, the evolution of sound to, keep making it into new stuff, and that's how we go and go. And this is the boy bands of one.
Yeah.
This is what it means. Now, Trix,
This is
did you
what
hear
happens when the boy bands have won.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It doesn't really like switch up the beat. It's, it weirdly repeats. It doesn't. It follows a pattern though.
It's like a 1 and 2 and 3,
But
and then it's like a 1 and 2 and 3 end or something like that. But it's the same sample.
It's all in 4/4. It's all in 4/4. I think. Yeah, it's in 4/4. I hear the click track.
Yeah.
Like just in my head. It's yeah.
Just because it's in 4/4 doesn't mean they play it on
doesn't switch up. I hate how you're making me like analyze this deeper than I should be.
It's the one thing I don't understand. Why does it sound like that? Because it's like it's the same sample being repeated, but they somehow make it sound 2 different ways.
They're repeated. They're splicing it up and repeating it. Like every day I see my dream. Every day I see my dream.
Is it really just that?
Something like that. Pretty much.
That's crazy.
Like I'll pull up the lyrics. I know that.
I know that's what they're doing, but like, I'm just surprised that just repeating the lyric that is like what is affecting me so much. It's like it just sounds awful weird.
I'm posting the lyrics right now.
Do we really have to keep analyzing this? I'm so fucking sick of this album. I might sound salty, and that's because I am.
Your saltiness is noted.
I kind of just also want to get this over with because I got pretty early, and I really don't want to have this like be a 2-hour recording.
Yeah, imagine having a 2-hour recording because you're talking about LMFAO. I would actually rather just quit the podcast and don't have that. So
yeah,
let's move on.
I think that would warrant quitting the podcast.
Well, fine. Favorites and least favorites then.
We know this.
Favorites, yes. Least favorite, yes. Specifically, my favorite of Yes is the penis line, just because I fucking hate it in a way that it's hilarious. And it's stolen.
I like and hate Shots. I think Shots is like the only song on this album that is like something you could play anywhere that's not embarrassing, except for the part where it's really rapey.
Yeah.
Yeah, put aside also the whole rape. Imagine telling on yourself like that. Is that really the only way? Are you that fucking bad? Like, are you that unsexy and you're that bad? Like,
but wait, Ritz. He's sexy and he knows it.
Does he?
I mean,
anyway.
Yeah. I don't know if they see it as a sexy. I think they just see it all as part of the package. It's not a reflection on them. It's a reflection on the party rock style. Anyway, we talked about that.
This album fucking blows.
It's one of the worst things we ever listened to.
The episode gets a lot nicer and chiller now. If you hear to just hear absolutely dog hated, you probably cut off the episode now because I don't think we're going to get as mean as that.
Yeah.
I still think your rant about drones is a much more interesting takedown. This just being bad is just
but I liked Muse. That's the thing. That there was some passion in being disappointed.
Some passion.
I tried to come into I hated hearing all the stuff I did back when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. I tried to come into the first song with the okay, let's see how it is, and I immediately went back to hating it, and it was just a real shock. I've already kind of moved on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. Pick something else. Anybody.
I will pick it because now that I've had the absolute disappointment from Dominic, let's have the absolute I love you from Trix.
Hell yeah. I picked both albums by Amyl and the Sniffers. Initially, I was just going to pick their second one, which I'm forgetting the title of.
Comfort to Me.
Because I'm bad at titles. Comfort to Me, thank you. Because I had been listening to it in the kitchen. And I'm like, this is a good album. Let's put it on the podcast. It's the Australian artist Ritz has never done before. And arguably pretty important. My mom knows Amy Taylor.
Ooh.
Like personally?
Not personally, but like knows of her.
Okay, well I'll do my little introduction, I guess, to this because I have known of Amyl and the Sniffers for a while. I haven't covered them. They were in consideration when I was doing the whole decade of punk thing. Because they are, you know, a very recent one. They had what I believe the first one was 2019. Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
And second one was 2021 or 2. It was one. Yeah. So shit, it's been a while since that. And they've got a couple of singles out this year. This is one of those bands that I was introduced to by my dad.
Interesting.
He's very much into this style of punk, and I'm not talking about Comfort to Me. This was back when the debut got released. He was plugging this at the end of the year for Christmas. I got him the world's greatest Amyl and the Sniffers shirt, and I've got to go fucking find it before I actually describe it, because it's so terrible to read to look at in public.
I can't believe they were on Flightless.
It was
That's amazing.
Yeah, I believe it was a part of the Got You music video, and it's God. I hope we can fucking find it. Anyway, as I'm looking for it, they absolutely blew up in the with Comfort to Me. Like they'd had some popularity, and you know they broke out, but Comfort to Me seems to be like the whole like everybody's fucking paying attention to this band now. During this time, they'd also had some other achievements. Amyl actually featured on the Viagra Boys album doing a cover of the John Prine duet. What was it called? It's on the end of it's popular duet.
I listened to it today.
In spite of ourselves.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Don't Fence Me In was actually Rock Band DLC, which I find crazy. But then thinking about it, there's not really much songs they could probably put on there. You definitely couldn't do Don't Need a Cunt Like You to Love Me.
Yeah.
Me and my brother drove up to Newcastle last year to see them headline a small little festival that was happening there. So I was pretty excited to cover them. I can't really say why I've never picked them, but I think it's fair for Trix to pick it. I think it's fine for her to have this one. Anyway, this is so much fucking better. In fact, I think Knifey is probably the best one to listen to right after LMFAO and Shots, because that's very much the anti-rape.
Yeah.
So, I think this is the best example of a band that has never been on a Tony Hawk soundtrack that deserves to be.
100%.
I think this is the best example of what pub rock is at the moment.
If Knifey was on Tony Hawk's 1+2, it would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find this fucking shirt. It was... I can't find it, but what it was is it's Amyl, and the rest of and the Sniffers are like all on their fours, and Amyl's got them all by a leash. And I got
Hell
that as a
yeah.
shirt from my dad.
So they're Australia's dog park dissidents.
That's a rough Meg.
It was a joke.
I know. But, I mean, some of the members of this band as well have been around for quite a while before Amyl and Sniffers came out. One of the guitarists, I believe it is, used to be in a band called Lunatics on Progressix. They might still be in that band. I think they're actually still around. And that goes back to like 2014 Triple J High Unearthed.
Mm.
And the winner that year would have been Japanese Wallpaper, I'm pretty sure. And that would have been the year or so with Hockey Dad. So that's just like it might have been 2013. I don't know.
Hell
it's like very
yeah.
close
See
times,
how
but it's
far
like
they've
yeah. It's kind of amazing just like many of those musicians in the Triple J Unearthed High competitions from around those years like just went on huge. Like this one year fucking Kid Leroy's in, which is just insane itself. And yeah, actually getting into the albums, I mean, the problem with albums at the same time is that one of them just outshines the other because they're very similar in their stylings. And whilst, the debut is good, there were the classics on there. I mean, Go Fuck Yourself, Cup of Destiny, I Got You, Some Mutts Can't Be Muzzled are all fucking fantastic tracks. The Comfort to me is just the album, but done better. It's just more. It's just better.
They find like what makes it work, and they hone in on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like Don't Fence Me In, Capital, Knifey, Freaks to the Front, Security, Hurts, Agate.
That's just a fucking
kind of have a story related to Security.
Yes, you do.
Security
Were you looking
is what
to fuck someone in a pub?
Security is who was going through my 10th grade English teacher's head when she got arrested for stalking Paul Newman in 1976.
What a teacher.
So, the movie Slapshot was recording in my hometown of Utica, which it's a hockey movie he was in. It was a comedy movie.
70s, interesting.
And yes, it was released in 77, so they were recording in 76. And so my teacher, she got arrested for trying to break into his dressing room because she was in love with him.
Tough time.
So like that Security is exactly what I was imagining. Exactly what I imagined was going through our head.
I'm not looking for trouble. I'm looking.
I
for
mean,
love.
The actual song seems to be about someone getting kicked out of a pub for getting too.
Yeah.
I don't even think she's getting in. She's just like at the door and she's already too wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all her friends have already gone.
The album kicks off with the album kicks off with an banger and Guided by Angels.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the perfect example of like what an opener should be because basically what you get from this album is explained by Guided by Angels.
Oh yeah.
It fully tell what you're going to be in for, and you're not disappointed by the end.
No, you are not.
It just it starts off hard, but the fact that it even gets heavier itself is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I think Freaks to the Front is just reinforcing that statement and making it like super clear. This is it.
As Trix dies.
Sorry, I inhaled a.
Oh.
Inhale the bug.
Yeah. Anyways, as you were saying, Mr. Domino.
Oh yeah, I just like Freaks to the Front being second is like a really great 1-2 punch of like, no, this is it. This is what you're getting. You were confused the first time. Here it is again.
And hold on, I gotta get the lyrics up to Maggot because that one had a really fucking good line in it. Where is it? Yeah, Maggot carcass, Maggot be free. Come on, Maggot, put your maggots in me. I'm like somewhat
punk.
convinced this is a sex song.
Probably. Pretty punk.
It was just a fun fucking album to listen to. Back when it came out. This is if LMFAO was supposed to be party rocking, this is just rocking, and only one of them actually got any of that right.
Yeah.
This is the real deal. The other shit was just industry plant shit. Like, even like songs like Monster Rock, which are like kind of throwbacky songs, I think work really well. Like, this is just these, like...
I mean, it's...
The first album is great. It gets the sound across. The second one's where it dials in. And it's really interesting to see what they're going to do with the third one.
Yes, I'm very interested.
And they do have the singles out, and we'll probably cover it when it does come out.
Yeah.
I think there's not really much more that you need to say than other this fucks, and it always has fucked.
This fucks. It fucks more than LMFAO thinks they could fuck.
Amy Taylor just has a great way in her vocals of just really, like taking control of all the focus, and then even if you do manage to cut away from that, what you're left with is still just really fucking good instrumentation that's just tight and banging. That's as simple as it can be. There is, some very fuzzy production that happens, and it just fits the vibe perfectly. That you feel like it's like intentional.
Yeah.
Even though you can tell the difference in production quality between the first and the second album.
I would also like to say that this is like phenomenal, like 80s styling punk. Like at work, I'll often throw on just like an 80s punk playlist, and Amyl and the Sniffers will just seep in there because they match that sound perfectly.
Yeah, I didn't realize Amyl and the Sniffers was exactly this. I thought they were just some kind of modern pop thing, so I never really took the chance to listen to them.
Well, you fucked up.
I did.
You did fuck up.
Yeah.
But then, you can't listen to everything. There's just too much music, too many songs out there.
Well, not
that attitude.
Apparently, instead of listening to Amyl and the Sniffers, you were listening to LMFAO. Fucking...
Yeah, wasting your
Who's
fucking
that
time.
On? Me and Trix are listening to Amyl. What the fuck were you doing?
Yeah, and you're the one that's like in the culture. You're in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm fucking Amyling and sniffling out there. I know. But the more you two talk about LMFAO, the more you have to talk me down from a ledge at the end of this episode. I'm going to say that right now.
Who says I was going to talk you down from there? You've made your bed. You lie in there.
Anyway, these albums are great.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It's one of those, like, no least favorite types of albums just because actually everything just fucking rocks.
Yeah.
I didn't like Snakes as much.
There's this great moment. No, I fucking like Snakes.
All killer, no filler.
Otherwise, I mean, there's towards the end of both of them where they just have great moments in there. I mean, Laughing, which is basically just the whole like shitty Marilyn Monroe quote of the "If you can't handle me at my worst," which she probably never actually said. Yeah, that's like that, but actually a properly explained kind of way, which is the whole like "Don't judge me just by like my worst moments" kind of more which I really fuck.
I'm sure Sky Blue and Red Through are saying the same thing.
I think what we're realizing now is that Dominic really liked LMFAO a lot more than he's letting on.
I didn't. I didn't. This is one of the worst things we ever listened to. When I first listened to Party Rock,
favorites,
like just previewing it before picking it, I was like ready to skip through every song at the minute and a half mark, like almost on the dot every time.
I was ready to skip like 30 seconds into a couple songs. And I was just like, okay, give it a little more, and yeah. Favorites from these
I listened to the whole
from
thing
from the debut. Yeah. Favorites. Fuck off. We're not going with LMFAO anymore. Favorites in the debut. Cup of Destiny. Go fuck yourself. Who got you? Some mutts can't be muzzled. Favorites and comfort to me. Guided by Angels, Security, Hurts, Maggot, Don't Fence Me In, Knifey, Don't Need a Cunt Like You to Love Me. Like, it's insane how many songs are actually good on there. And I probably should have given this a lot more listens than I did back in 2021, because a lot more songs would have been in my top 100. Instead, I had Security in my top 200, but I would fix that in hindsight now. I mean, I already decided that back in 2022.
Favorites for me off of debut, we'll go with Starfire 500, Go Fuck Yourself, and Some Mutts Can't Be Muzzled. Off of Comfort to Me, we'll go with Guided by Angels, Security, No More Tears, and let's see here, Maggot. Yeah, no real least favorites off of either of them.
I like Punisher. I like Some Mutts Can't Be Muzzled. I like Monsoon Rock off the first one. Second one, I like Knifey, Freaks to the Front, Security, Hurts, Capital, Don't Fence Me In. My least favorite is Snakes.
All right.
What next?
So, this week we had an album that surprisingly had a real big pup effect on me, which I did not expect. So let's talk about Cheekface.
All right.
Like Pup, the second time we did Pup, I wasn't as into it because it was the same thing again.
Yeah, so Cheekface, it's sorted. This is the new album from Cheekface. We covered their album 2 years ago with, what was it fucking called? Too Much to Ask.
Yeah.
They've got an album out again this year, whilst needing a bit of a palate cleanser this year. Let's go back onto some Cheekface and properly cover it. It's an album in which I think there's some. I think they do have some sound changes in some songs, which I think, okay, here's some cool moments. I really like this. I'll be listening to it. But other than that, yeah, I agree, Dominic. There is a bit of that effect. I think there is a lot of similarity, which means these songs get a bit stuck, I guess, and what they could be. I mean, I still think Cheekface have a sound that's fresh enough that I'm not bored of it. But I think when it comes to really analyzing this years down the line, I think I'm still going to just listen to Too Much to Ask. That being said, I do like some. I mean, I think the first half of this album is where it has those more interesting moments happening in it, and then the second half kind of has a struggle to go anywhere, which, unlike Too Much to Ask, I think it was just interesting from start to finish.
I don't agree with that personally, but
yeah,
opinions.
That's my take on this.
Or I just think there's
my take.
There's pop-up highlights, but it's never super even throughout. Go on, Trix.
My take on Cheekface is that I'd just rather listen to They Might Be Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a wrong take to have. I don't know. There's definitely inspiration that they've had from They Might Be Giants. They covered Anna Rain 2 years ago. I think the highlights of this album are still really good, though. Songs like Popular 2, which I thought was just a fun little pop rock song. Life in a Bag, I think, is the absolute fucking highlight of this this album. I think that's a really catchy chorus and great lyrically written song that I fell in love with on Too Much to Ask.
Mentally Ill.
Plastic.
I'll be fine.
Yeah. Plastic I like, but I think it comes just a bit too late in the album when it's kind of already fallen a bit. Like songs like Don't Stop Believing and Largest. I don't even think they're doing anything with them, and I like the idea, I guess, of there are changes, but I feel like it's a song that just doesn't pop out as well as a song like I'd probably compare it to something like Election Day. I guess, yeah, I'd compare trophy hunting at the zoo to Noodles, which is this kind of quick short here's a complete change in our sound for a minute here, not expected kind of little interlude, I guess we'd call it. And then the next one being a bit more of a, I guess it's not as laid back as Election Day was, but I guess it's the one I'd kind of compare it to, I think, in its lyrical content.
I like Trophy Hunting because it was so different and it got weirdly political for a second. I was like, okay. They're actually trying to say something with this one. Hell yeah.
I mean, I could probably also compare Trophy Hunting to Featured Singer, in which Featured Singer was the definite sonic, what's the fucking word? Outlier. On there, in which it was an EDM song, basically.
Yeah.
But they were trying to, it wasn't a full EDM, it still had the Cheekface instrumentation going around in there. But its stylings was very much trying to emulate EDM, I guess is the best way of describing it.
It's
I do like introductions to songs like Grad School as well. I was hoping there would be a bit more like of that production, but yeah. Sorry, the delay is fucking us.
I'm sorry. It's my thing is
go on.
Once I
go
move,
on.
Hopefully the internet will be better.
Nah,
but
it's also on me.
But like a great example of like kind of my thing here is like Grad School, where I can just sense like the rhythm and the cadence of their lyrics to the point where I feel like we could probably write a Cheekface song or two albums in, and I'm kind of disappointed by that. I feel like if their style is so concentrated and you're so able to pick it up so easily, sometimes that really works. But I think for them, I'm just kind of left being like, okay, what else you got? Because there are some really fun songs and fun moments. I think like they're really fun and light, and there's like I feel like a little bit of a ska direction in this one that I appreciate. And those moments like Trophy Hunting or Life in a Bag where it's doing something, or I'm continuing to do my thing is really fun. But songs like The Fringe and Popular 2 and Grad School and things like that, like changes in the hardcore scene.
I will not take any Popular 2 slam.
Those are like bog standard Cheekface songs.
I just wanna be popular to watch and
then doing Don't Stop Believing is like a whole different thing. But instead of like the Don't Stop Believing you kind of think about, that's fun. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the end, they're still good songs, but it's just outweighed by what Cheekface has done previously.
Yeah.
And there is at a point where they are starting to just, I agree. I mean, I think if we covered Therapy Island or Emphatically No, I don't think your opinion on writing a Cheekface song would really change, because they definitely do have a style that they've kept after all this time. And don't get me wrong, I think what is still their highlight is just their lyricism is still pretty witty.
Oh sure.
And that is that is another part of why I fell in love with Too Much to Ask. I think this is, it's fine, but I agree. I was hoping for something a bit different now, because I've had enough time with Too Much to Ask. I think it's not something that wanted me craving so much more of it. It was something that was like really fun to just still listen to, and I still listen to songs of Too Much to Ask. I'll regularly listen to songs like When Life Hands You Problems, We Need a Bigger Dumpster. You Always Want to Bomb the Middle East, and I think that's also another fucking thing. Thinking about it, yeah, I think Too Much to Ask had a lot more variety happening on it with the sound that they were going here, and I feel like this was a lot more concentrated.
Yeah.
And I know I have a friend or two that really likes Cheekface and really likes Jeff Rosenstock, so they're really excited whenever we cover something in that realm. I'm sorry, Luke, that this is going to disappoint you, but like, yeah.
One thing I guess would also be interesting probably to cover though, but it'd be a while away. It'd just be kind of like once this is sunk in a lot more and stuff. Is covering all the B-sides that they've had albums.
Yeah, they do a lot of B-sides.
Yeah.
I think
And at this point, it's like,
would be to do all the albums and then do the B-sides all together and see if we can kind of see if they're any different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a while away. It might not even be this fucking year because
2027 maybe.
I'm trying to just cover. Maybe a 2025 early start, maybe a 2026. Yeah, a bit of time for it because I still like this album. It's still a highlight of this year, considering what we have covered from this year. It's not challenging the top spot like Too Much to Ask was, though. That's just how I feel about it. So, I mean, I could come around on these songs and say, actually, this one is trying something a bit different, and it's. I guess it is lost in that kind of comparison that you're doing, Dominic, with the pop. It is. We kind of already listened to this album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess because I see a lot of people giving this some high ratings. And I don't really fully disagree as well because I couldn't tell you anything's bad on here. I think it's all good. But it's just comparing it to previous albums and blah blah blah. I feel what people might consider to be their favorite out of It's Sorted or Too Much to Ask is the same with us with the Unraveling of Pop the Band and Morbid Stuff. It's what album did you listen to first?
Yeah.
And we have an answer to that. It's the one before this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably now at a time considering the pop ones because it's been a while. It's been the pop album was 2022, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then we did Morbid Stuff before that.
It's been a while.
We
covered Morbid Stuff like we did it like a month and a bit after.
Yeah, and then we did This Place Sucks
Yeah,
Ass.
and then like last year. Yeah.
And then I said I was gonna wait. Yeah. And then I'll probably wait a bit, and then we'll do the It's Over because I said I was gonna wait a while for that one.
Honestly, I might pull that one out before you.
That's fine. I haven't done that. And then we can when we do The Dream Is Over is when we can properly kind of like reconsider Morbid Stuff versus because then I would also have some time since Unraveling. I can go, is Unraveling actually better? At the current moment, I still think Morbid Stuff is, but just now we'll see what it's like in the future.
Yeah, maybe we can do a little Patreon bonus episode.
Favorites off this off the album. Popular 2, I do actually like. That was in my top 100 last year. I like it. It's maybe it is a bit bog standard, but I don't think it actually sounded like too much to ask when I listened to it. But maybe I am just seeing it through completely rose-colored glasses. Life in a Bag is also the best song off this album. It's got one of those really just catchy choruses to it, but it's really kind of fun. It's oddly danceable if you get what I mean.
I get
Even
it.
though it's like very slow, it's very slow pace. It feels like a line dancing kind of song.
Okay, sure.
I could see that.
Yeah. Least favorite is probably Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah.
My favorite.
And before I pass it over, anyone else? What's their opinions on the moment in the Fringe where they go FRING, the Fringe?
Cute.
Yeah, because I had this. Oh fuck you! You're on the fringe of spelling the Fringe. Is that the joke?
Probably.
Yeah. I would like to give a shout out to Trophy Hunting at the Zoo
for its lyrics about Hunter Biden and Don Jr.
Or just like the massive tonal shift.
Sure.
Like it's a different sounding song than a lot of the album.
Sure. I'm continuing to do my thing. Life in a Bag. Trophy Hunting at the Zoo. I like Don't Stop Believing. My least favorite is Popular 2.
All right.
Are you just shouting out the one, Trix?
And I'll agree with Ritz pretty much too. On top of that.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Garage Sale.
All right. slowcore, baby. We're still doing slowcore. Garage Sale, Melbourne-based emo slowcore artists. I would have found out about them in around 2022. And they'd released their I like Shoes On off that album. I just snuck into my 200 that year. I think at like 97. I could get the fucking list up, and I would be a genius if I did that. And we scrolled down. It was 196.
Wow.
So just I was a bit hyped, and then blank again last year, and that in my top 20. I was like starting to go on board with this band, sort of fully on board with this band. And an EP out now, which is it's always good to get new music out in here, and I think I'm just going to do take right here that is going to probably at least have Dominic fully agree with me. I am completely blue balled by One Star Falls.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, kinda. Like, I figured it was just gonna be a little interludes. I wasn't expecting that much, but kinda.
That little second close to Furry Pop, I was like, wait, hold on a second there. And then they just never went back to it. I'm like,
it's a hint that they can do more.
Come on, don't do that to me. But that's
the way. It's
good.
That doesn't make sense unless you know either of the bands. But Garage Sale reminds me a lot of list.
Yeah, I can kind of get it.
I'm so lagging out. What are you saying?
Dreamy kind of vibe. Real estate.
Got it.
Yeah, it's a very dreamy vibe. It has that, so I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
Lucy movie and Second to Ship. I do like this EP and I like the sound.
Oh yeah.
But I'm still pissed off by that interlude only being an interlude. Like, come on.
Make it longer.
Have a visualizer. It's just like from cartoon stuff. Skitty running around in circles. Pokemon. It's like, come on, it's so cute.
Hey, Claustrophobia Pop's getting out into the wider world. That's the important thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it's a bit of like hyperpop breakcore moment where there's like the screams happen. Come on, it's more. It's the scream.
It is.
It's in there. I think I've listened to that interlude. The songs on the CP.
I think Movie is just a very beautiful song.
And I like this CP.
And it's the wonderful thing where for me, I couldn't tell when Skunked ended and when Movie began. So sometimes I would just start listening to it again and be like, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
You just listen to it on repeat?
Sometimes accidentally, yeah.
Yeah, good man.
Mm-hmm.
Good man. Yeah, it's
Movie's just a really nice.
It's very lovely.
Like that's a great example. Like what is slow?
Yeah,
it's this.
So I fell in love with the single last year because the outro to it, after that kind of very slow build up that had happened to it in this, it's a very chilling, fuzzy rock tune for most of it. And I don't assume the explosions like that on this EP, but something calm, lo-fi, fuzzy tunes on this. I think it's a very well-shaped EP. I think Cindy is the highlight for it as well. I think when the harmonies come up in there, it's very mean to the ears.
Yeah.
I'll let Dominic say the next words now.
I like that they have shouted out Freezer and Masatui in their Bandcamp. They have talked about
that's
Freezer.
Cool.
Yeah, well, they're in similar scenes.
Masatui, some male below.
They're all based same scene.
And then there's Gleamer, which we've not covered yet.
No, there's a lot of artists in the scenes that we haven't. I think Garage Sale does have that playlist though. Garage Sale Friends, Homies We Adore.
That sounds cool.
I'll just go through I'll go through all the artists that are on there. 00_, which we covered. Angel Dust randomly, which is hardcore from US. I don't think they're homies. They might have actually. I'm gonna fucking check that. Angel open for them or something. It happened at Stay Gold. God, fucking. I'm gonna search that up and go through a bunch of these other things. Armlock, and again, Belair Lip Bombs, Blind Girls, and Blasted Head, Codeine, which they're definitely open for Codeine. Crawling. Don't know who the Dallas Cowboys are. You know, obviously not the fucking NFL team. NYC Hardcore Karaoke Band.
Hell yeah.
Doris, unsurprisingly. Drift, Dust, Crod 4, Days, Fish Hunt, Freight, which is definitely some more slowcore. Fritz, Frogut, also known as 750. They got their own selves on there. Geography, Gleamer, Hanoi Traffic, Horror My Friend, which is an old one. They're kind of like gone now, which kind of sucks. They were pretty good and pretty good band to listen to back in the 10s. Jackelson, Jarrow, Juice Webster, all these. Lots of Hand Colors, Boundary, Naki Soul, Obscura Head, OK Hotel, Peace Ritual, People I Love, Pony Boat, Propane, Rat Hammock, Rajlee Fight Club, Sandpit, Sesame Girl, Dover, Sunrun, Silver, Water, 12-Point Buck, Trine, Waveform, Progress, what it means, Whip, and of course, we will look back at you and love you forever.
Hell yeah.
Hell.
That is probably one of the better explanations of the Australian scene. There's obviously artists that are missing from there. Now, some of them which we have covered because there was no super def and stuff, but
no,
yeah, it's a pretty tight scene. A pretty tight scene at the moment.
Tight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and there's a lot of artists that we have covered, and there's a lot of artists to still cover in the scene, and we'll get there. We'll
get there.
I think Garage Sale is a really interesting representation of the week that I've had this last week. In particular, I was doing some food delivering to this particle accelerator that's out in the Chicago suburbs, which is basically just this government lab. And the history of it is really interesting in that basically it was a town in Illinois that was trying to become a town, and they were having some issues with like zoning and things. So they went to the U.S. government for help to help them like legitimize and become a real town. And the government was like, actually, we're going to take over and make this into like a government town, become a particle accelerator. So that's not really going to happen the way you want it to. And so it's this gated community, basically, where it's a lab, and there's homes there, and people live there, but, like, everything's kind of frozen in time, and there's a lot of, like, farms and fields and things, and houses from, like, 50, 60 years ago still up and running. And just kind of listening to Garage Sale as I'm, like, driving through this place trying to find my drop-off point was, like, really kind of eerie and creepy. In like the best possible way for a slowcore kind of jam to be,
Yeah.
Like when I left there, for whatever reason, my phone wasn't properly displaying, like when the song, like when the runtime of the song, it wasn't properly displaying. So I don't know if that was just a coincidental fuck up or there's some kind of like nuclear radiation subtly affecting my phone, But yeah,
probably just a fuck up.
Just driving through that little kind of just fenced in area. It's just like just like a time machine for a little bit there, and this is playing is a really striking aesthetic. Something I will remember quite a bit.
Domino having a mental breakdown in the middle of nowhere, and garage sale just casually soundtracking it.
Well, to be fair, they didn't really tell me where to drop off the food. It just dropped me in the middle of the road, and it's like, okay, here. And there were no fucking buildings there. And here I am in this government site, not knowing where the fuck to go. It's like, oh god, this is how every horror movie starts.
Oh yes, Domino gets.
Yeah, that'd be the worst way to end Dissonant Waves, is me getting randomly murdered while listening to Garage Sale.
Yeah, the whole and
You hope it's me getting murdered listening to LMFAO.
I'm seeing Garage Sale now. So if Dominic ever dies listening to Garage Sale, I'll just tell him in person. So it's a way to avoid me. I'll be like, hey, someone died listening to your music, and it'd be incredibly uncomfortable for the rest of the gig. It's gonna be great. Yeah, good EP. I really establishing this one, which is good. I mean, I think always a big class is when they start early. They have here. They're going like, okay, we're putting out an album basically to start, and then you get locked in albums and all that, and they don't really get a good chance to properly define their sound. They've done the smart thing. Started back. Done a small EP, which is kind of more exploring what they want their sound to be and kind of establishing it. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we've had that random break in the middle of it, which gave me some absolute blue balls that I was hoping would turn randomly into a claustrophobia pop song.
Yeah.
Can't get that. Instead, my balls are dry. But it's how it is, It's at least also some case of experimentation having this as well, so it's not just a one and done EP that goes for longer than I think that's just what artists of the kind of level should be doing at the moment.
Yeah,
and I think they've done it well.
I agree.
I know it would be a pretty comparable one to do is Teenage Dads.
Yeah.
Is what?
When we covered their EP, I feel like that Teenage when we covered their EP.
Okay.
Because that was a band that had already released quite a bit, but the difference is the level of popularity, obviously. But Teenage Dads are just broken out into like a new level of popularity, and they've kind of just gone, instead of rushing out the album, that's actually kind of focus and make a short little concise EP. And they are actually having an album come out this year as well, so that'll be interesting to see how that. Favorites, my lip movie, Sinking Your Ship, 1 star falls. Least favorites, probably Pile.
I like movie. I like Sink Your Ships.
Completely agree.
I like the claustrophobia pop song. I don't really have a least favorite.
We're all kind of in agreement then.
Hell yeah. And since we're on the similar
What are we
wavelength
doing
here, we just talk about Fan Club Wallet.
Yeah, we originally covered them with an EP. Then that was when it was the solo project of Hannah. Can't remember their last name.
Judge.
And then we covered. Thank you. Then we covered their debut album, which was honestly a really good album and still is. It was a different outing to the EP. And now they're a band. It's a full band now. And we've got an EP that honestly kind of sounds different, like completely different in some ways, but also still somewhat reminiscent of I feel like if we listen to the first EP and listen to this, it would be
it is completely different. But that being said, I think this might be my favorite of the week.
I like this. I don't know about favorite of the
Dominic,
week.
what do you think?
I think it's a really interesting change.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I like Complex Weather a lot. That's kind of where I fall to.
I like the middle of the EP closer.
Picture of Her is pretty good, I will say. Like, it's just overall pretty solid. Like,
As is
I like. You go first. You go first.
Like, Fanclub Wallet overall has been pretty solid. Like, I didn't really care about Car Crash and G Major as much, but like everything we listen to them, I've just kind of been like, yeah, this is good. I like what they're doing, and I think showing that this full band evolution is happening is like a nice change. And I think songs like Complex Weather really highlights those changes and like the things that they can do as a full force. So I'm really curious, like even beyond this, like what is next for them?
Yeah. This gets me really excited for Fanclub Wallet.
You know, I think the other reason why I think so much is because I still listen to the Two Russia 2000 EP, which was the one from one of the members that was released in the same year as the album that was produced by Hannah. And that's probably where I'm thinking styles that were happening, where, you know, it's departures from them, but I feel like there is some moments that are kind of, and from what we've heard, but this is still, you know, a kind of, I guess, a new in a way. It sounds kind of probably a bit, making it sound like, oh, this is completely, when I think there is not so much too unique about this.
No. Fanclub Wallet's never been like the most unique sound in the world, and that's fine.
Yeah, no. You don't always have to be. I mean, I've always stand by the most important thing in music is the execution, and it's still strongly. I think some of the concepts, well, not some of the concepts. I think the kind of just band like that was like. I mean, that was the debut single to CP. I was a little less hyped on it when I heard that song because it was like, okay, well, this is just fine at best, really. And then I feel like this EP is more showing how they actually sound as a band and some more kind of interesting stylings or concepts in their songs. And I guess, you know, it's in a very similar style to Garage because now when you are having this kind of could he in an album? But I do like seeing, like, exploring some ideas out there and then putting it just a little EP out there. I mean, like, EPs aren't exactly, you know, harmless to put out.
No.
Shit music that you put out is still shit music that you put out.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's
but I feel like
EPs
in this case, the what?
You said before that an EP is like a statement of being, like, how are they right now?
Yeah. Yes, that is. Yeah, it's as well. The fact that it's usually a lot well is that you can really focus on just certain songs instead of doing this whole overarching concept. Like, what's the difference between an album and a vision is a lot bigger than what's the different EP, because you can easily get away with a couple of songs that
yeah
it's fine. I could have also attached on the last solo fan club project with the last EP from last year's Small Songs Volume 1, which it more followed the original idea. We kind of talked about after the album where Hannah very graciously went through us on Twitter and talked about the reason for this 55 little interlude, which is that the instrumental track that was kind of very a lot more like and Small Songs has a very kind of similar styling to that. I think it is just a bunch of demos or something, and I guess that kind of signifies the end of the club era.
Yeah, it's very much bedroom pop. It's just Hannah in
era.
the bedroom.
and I'm still excited to go from here because I do like the. I mean, I like the first EP more than the EP. I'm not gonna lie about the quality of it. But I just like the difference in quality between the first EP and the first album. Favored the album heavily. If I can find the words for it. So I have no doubt that it'll be a similar as well. So I'm excited to happens when you get the full length in this band.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for the album. I really like the evolution sound. This is a sound. This is a sound I really like, and it's a sound I really executed very well. So, I'm excited.
Anything else you got to say, Domino?
Not really. Like, I don't have as much to say about this one, but I enjoyed it. Like, fanclubwallet's always been a highlight, but never been something I was super in love with. And this is good. I think this is slowly moving to something I enjoy more and more. Again, Complex Weather is easily one of the more recognizable songs of the week for me, so I really enjoy that. But yeah, not a winner for me, but definitely not.
Fair play. I mean, nothing's being cared.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing's really gonna get a loser.
Favorites, least favorites. Favorites, least favorite. Of her and Easy. Least favorites band like that.
Favorites are bodies paint traffic lines and Complex Weather. No least favorite.
I like Complex Weather. A picture of her, my least favorite's band like that. All right, which leads us then with the Laura Jane Grace album "Hole in My Head." To give a quick intro,
it's like I'm staring 20 years into my own future.
This is the latest solo album by Laura Jane Grace, formerly of or somewhat still kind of the lead singer of Against Me. It's kind of unclear right now. They might do some stuff in the future, or they might not. It's kind of just whatever at this point. But this is new, more of like an acoustic direction, more of the still, trying to express more left-leaning, political stuff, even though, some stuff happened this year with, union stuff that wasn't as great. And more talking about just kind of daily trans life and just kind of living. The interesting thing I will say, this was the album I was going to pick months ago when I picked the Paranol album that I said I wasn't really feeling in my original pick. This was that pick. And I'm glad I waited, because I really was not feeling this the week that I was going to pick it, but I really enjoyed it this week.
It was okay.
What was she on about? Yeah, hold on. What was she on about with that fucking world isn't flat line? Like, and if the world isn't flat, it may as well fucking be. Like, I see, like, meaning behind, like, what she's on about or what she's talking about, because, like, what the fuck is she on about?
Maybe
I feel like there's some context I'm missing here.
Maybe just like, well, if it's not flat, then it really doesn't fucking matter. Like, who really fucking cares if it's flat or not? Maybe.
Yeah, but like, why is she saying it like?
I kind of took it as general frustration that it's even like a thing to debate, that there's like people out there trying to really make it a thing.
Maybe. I assume, but you never know.
I am a egg earther. I think the Earth is egg shaped.
I think it's funny if it's shaped as a fidget spinner.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, this is a kind of a nice. I would consider this like an early morning album. It seems like a lot of the songs and like a lot of the feelings are about waking up in the morning and living. I think that's a really nice thing to have.
Yeah.
It's like a kind of like a general album aesthetic. Like, dysphoria hoodies, kind of just about wearing that piece of clothing that brings you comfort, brings you, sameness, normalness. Tacos and toast, kind of that breakfast.
Yeah.
There's breakfast kind of mentioned all over the album, I feel like.
Yeah, there's we referenced in one song.
Yeah, there's some
That
day old
might have
coffee.
been Dysphoria hoodie.
Yeah. But there's also moments too that are kind of more throwbacky, kind of to like classic, not rockabilly rock, but like 60s rock with like I'm Not a Cop. Which I was thinking about it, Trix. The throwback rock on this album is what Green Day wants it to be, like for them, but they're not doing it.
Yeah,
this is just a folk rock album, though.
But there's a throwback simplicity to some of the stuff on here that Green Day is so trying to do that with their sound, but it's so overproduced and so trying to stick to like a punk aesthetic that they're kind of overshooting it.
yeah.
Like Against Me is also pretty punk and like pretty in that same realm, but like stripping it back and like giving the songs room to breathe and be gentle, I think is the difference here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
did
really
too.
struggled. Yeah, I kind of really struggled to care too much about it musically. Laura taking her word just struggled to remember.
You're really breaking up right now.
Unfortunately, it's that would probably be the 200 ping that I'm on.
I didn't really take much into this album. I listened to it a couple times. I think subconsciously, I realized that this could be me in 20 years. Don't go right. Like, I could see myself this album describing my life to a T.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly like that.
Were you disappointed at all that it was a much gentler and not like the Against Me kind of punk sound? Either of you?
No, I went into this expecting like, oh, this is going to be a Laura Jane Grace album. I've listened to Laura Jane Grace on her own before. I know what it's going to sound like, and but I didn't click.
It's interesting because like I had that same first reaction, and then I came back to it a few months later, and it's like, no, this clicks now. This is great. I like this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it just takes a little bit of time.
What was the one project? The Devouring Mothers.
Yeah, Laura Jane Grace and the Devouring Mothers.
One of the album.
You're also breaking up a lot right now.
We are all.
So apologies, everybody, for the way
Coming
this episode
out
coming out sonically, but we're trying.
I can't wait for that one to go on clear where I was intentionally breaking. I mean, I think this is the most like album that we probably could have out of all the stuff that we listened to. But I mean, you know, I kind of had to get a better album first compared to the one that we actually come first. Because else I was gonna. Yeah, it was. But I just didn't really. I just found myself not really being as interested as I was going to be with it. I've had a couple of these songs on rotation. I just throughout the years in a random playing. So I've heard a couple of songs going into this, and yeah, they're random listens, so never a skip. But I also never really purposely went out of my way to listen to it, and now having listened to the album in full, I think the context really makes it up. Mostly because I don't think there's really much flow context in this album either. I think it's a collection of songs, and I fuck with punk. I do, I really do. But I don't know, something about this just didn't really hit as hard as I thought it would, especially knowing Laura Jane Grace's bass. She would be a really great. I mean, she still is. She's not. This is a very competent album, but I've maybe what happened in it. That's really my take. You can't really get me much the same.
Yeah.
fair enough, I guess. Like I don't know if it's really anything happening as much as it is a reflection on just living life, and I think there is space for that too. I think for me at least,
fair.
it was
Yeah, that is fair.
It was a calmer album to kind of just reflect with and kind of have moments with. Right? Even then, there were still higher energy songs on there. It's not all just slow acoustic, but when it gets to that point, I think it.
Yeah,
just
I mean
goes.
the opener is pretty fast-paced.
Yeah, Hole in My Head and I'm Not a Cop. They both kind of go in there, but then Dysphoria Hoodie kind of brings it back down, and it kind of goes on from there. And I think there's some really nice moments. I think Mercenary doing the "I Want You to Want Me" interpolation is really interesting. I thought that was a really nice reflective moment again on the record. I liked Cuffing Season quite a bit. Reflecting on punk rock and basements. That's kind of what this show even does. So it's kind of geared toward us a little bit.
Yeah. I live in a basement.
Do you play a lot of punk rock?
I play a lot of punk.
Fair enough.
We are all favorites, I guess.
Cuffing Season, Mercenary.
Uh,
Least favorites probably Give Up the Ghost.
Yeah.
Fritz Hole in My Head. Least favorite is Give Up the Ghost.
I just like a favorite least because this could either be like favorite song like the one I back to quite, or I could just hate it on sale. See in a couple months, and that's Dysphoria Hoodie.
Is this your favorite and least favorite?
Yeah, we'll change in a months on that one.
Okay.
Like, I appreciate it, but at the same time, it's like, do I really need to listen to a song with anxieties written in it?
Fair enough. Well, that means we're at the ranking stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to start.
Go for it, Rip.
Universe bottom LMFAO.
Yeah.
And that's where I guess we're comparing everything else with the are we gonna go put the in Grace there? I put a lot. I put fanclubwallet. Then I'll pick. Then I will put the first Amyl and the Sniffers. Then I'll put Garage Cell. Then I'll put the Comfort to Me. It's all of them.
I can go now.
Yeah, go ahead.
LMFAO at the bottom, obviously. Then Glorious Head. Then I'm going to switch it up and go with Cheekface. Garage Sale. Then I'm going to do the first Amyl and the Sniffers. Our Bodies Pink Traffic Lines by fanclubwallet. Then the other by the opening title, Guided by Voices.
Guided by Angels and by
right.
Voices is completely different.
You're right. It's 4:42 a.m. right now.
We're almost done.
Yeah.
Is that your number one then?
Yes.
All right. My ranking. LMFAO at the bottom, of course. Then after that, I'll pick. I kind of just want to say Cheekface. It's not entirely true, but my kind of disappointment in the Cheekface, I think, kind of outweighs the fact that I do like some of the songs. After that, we'll do Amyl and Sniffers, self-titled. Then fanclubwallet. Then Garage Sale. And then I'll kind of just tie Comfort to Me and Hole in My Head. I think they're both great, but there's no strong number one for me.
I need to do this. I'm doing this for Trix. Dominic, Comfort to Me is a lot fucking harder than Hole in My Head.
You're right. Comfort to Me is number one. Hole in My Head's number two.
This is my first number one in a while.
Yeah.
Feels good. Thanks, Ritz.
Okay. So now is the part where I can make your lives really miserable, but you can convince me not to.
Why are you thinking about doing Sorry for Party Rockin'?
I'm sorry, but I am. After how many times it was brought up?
Here's the other. No, hold on. Just one thing. Just a reminder that it would be life. Only words I'm going to say. You can pick whatever you.
Mexican standoff.
That would have sounded really a lot better if you hadn't shorted out through the entire thing. So if you would want to say it again or type it out in the chat so I could read it.
Probably. No. Nope.
Look, I don't want anyone to quit the show. Like that's where I am. If you're not going to quit the show over it,
I won't quit.
Of course, I'm not quitting the fucking show.
Oh.
Just go to the house and lynch you.
Okay, that's acceptable. That's fine. Well, I guess it's time to apologize and say I'm sorry for Party Rocking. Nick LMFAO's sorry for Party Rocking. But to make it up to you.
Oh boy.
To make it up to you, I'm going to stick on the same train and pick the last Laura Jane Grace EP of War with the Silverfish. I'm just going to keep trucking on the same ideas.
Okay. I'd like to go next, Ritz, if that's.
Yeah, I'm still finding the last thing discussion, so go ahead.
I'm gonna. I said earlier in this week that I wanted to define kitchen music, which is this term I've been throwing around this season because I've been music and working it. And with that, I want to set the baseline def of kitchen music as prime.
With what?
Nice.
You cut out.
And
Primus Frizzle Fry.
Yes. Prime. This is. All right, I'll write it out.
Okay.
And from Ritz, happy. Along that same line, but a bit weird and a bit more out there, we're going to be doing Viagra Boys Cave World.
Viagra Boys to November a couple days ago.
Hell yeah.
Alright. There's only one way to combat Dominic's picks of LMFAO, and that's by fighting fire with fire. Before we do that, I will attach our EP just to try and get some more EPs covered this year because we do kind of Dominic that we picked one. But EPs that we pick, the more EPs being to the list. So up on the band I've seen most this year is not always by choice, even though I do like this. They're just opened so many times. I've caught them a total of 5 times here so far. That's Jet City Sport and their new fucking title. About 5 seconds. I'm really good at cutting out time. Every single dream. Yeah, that's not to fight, Dominic.
Please write it out in the thing as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be sharing the links. But it's time to fight fire with fire. And I will get some party albums out. And it's going to be a hip-hop party album. It's going to be a new 1-300 mixtape, George.
All right.
But in order to truly make Dominic know what type of could have actually picked, oh, you betrayed your gay culture. I'm picking it. I'm picking Charlie XCX's Rat.
I almost picked that a couple weeks ago. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh, fucking move, Dominic.
Okay. All right. That's fine. pick Brat. We'll see what we get.
All right.
Hopefully next episode we'll actually record a lot better than this one is. Holy shit. So, that leaves us then.
Yeah, people gotta be really pissed that LMFAO didn't get fucking recorded well.
No, the LMFAO part I think was the best.
It's our penance for doing LMFAO.
So that leaves
us.
It's
our penance for doing LMFAO.
Yeah. Primus's Frizzle Fry, Viagra Voice Cave World, George by, was it 1300? That's what it looks like. Every Single Dream by Jet City Sports Club, that's an EP. And Brat by Charlie XCX. And then I picked LMFAO, Sorry for Party Rocking, and At War with the Silverfish, the EP by Laura Jane Grace. Alright, that's been Dominic, that's been me. I'm online on Twitter at DACICHOCKI. Dominic Chakilka on YouTube if you must. I'm also on the Games on Unfound podcast sometimes. We just did an episode not long ago about Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories. Look out for that if you wish. And it'll probably sound better too.
I don't know. You can catch me on the link. Remember that, but I don't think I update much beside them. If you, it's because of the story.
Yes. I have been Trix. You can catch me sleeping in a boxcar somewhere. Buy our merch. Check out our social media. And all that, yeah.
Welcome to Audio Issues, the episode, everybody. Have a wonderful, non-audio issue life, if that is the way your life goes. If you have audio issues in your real life, I apologize.
Bye.